Wonder how long it will take YouTube to catch up. I don't know. It's gonna take a minute or two. I don't know. Anyhow, everybody, it's Monday, and I'm back. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad that you guys are back. I'm glad that everybody is here because it's a glorious Monday, and it's like 100 degrees outside. Oh, my lordy, it's a fire out there. Happy to say that it has gotten super warm out already. Welcome to springtime. Spring has sprung. It's May. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know that I would be expecting that it wouldn't be nice out, but welcome to it being nice out. And hold on. Who's this? I got a telephone call coming in. Hot and fresh. Hot off the presses. Hot off the presses. Oh, it's from Corby. It's from Kohlrabi, so I got to email. Let me message this guy back. There we go. AM. Yeah. There we go. Sometimes you got to email or message Kohlrabi back, you know? Just let him know. Like, hey, man, we could do whatever time you like, buddy. And believe it or not, that's what I texted back, you know. Because that's not what I texted. Yeah, so anyhow, well, it's Monday, and we had a big thing, and it's warm out today. Okay, yeah, so let's get on it. Monday, back from the Aquatic Gardeners Association, a meeting of association meeting convention. So we're going to talk about that for a little bit here right out the gate, as you guys can see from the thumbnail and the title picture and stuff. Like, what did I get while I was there? I'm not going to show you guys every single thing that I got there, but while I was there, but I'll show you some of the select stuff and you know, some of the reasons that you would possibly want to go to some kind of convention in the future, or maybe you don't. You know, it's like you know, it's one of those things where you have a thought in your head, and you're like, do I want to go? Do I want to go to do I want to go to a convention? Maybe this will sway you one way or another, that like you're like, I don't know if I want to do that. Or maybe you're like, oh, wow, maybe I really do want to go to a convention at some point in time. Because currently right now there are starting to be a fair amount of conventions out there revolving around the aquarium hobby. Now, some of the larger ones like MACNA, Reefapalooza, stuff like that, those all kind of revolve around the reef portion of the hobby. So saltwater aquariums and stuff like that. Those are quite fun to go to, and you will normally find some freshwater stuff there. The Aquatic Gardeners Association revolves pretty much solely around planted freshwater aquariums. There are some conventions out there that kind of do both, like Aquatic Experience, Aquashella, and a few other come to mind. And there are some select small conventions out there. Like I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to be able to go to the catfish convention. I think I want to go to that one. I'm going to try and figure out if I can figure out the dates. I think that one's in like October or something like that. I don't know. Let me see. Hold on. Cataclysm fish show. Oh, did I spell it right? No, I spelled it wrong, but there we go. It popped up. I realized that I probably should have looked this up before the show, but it popped into my head. I was like, oh, yeah, I want to try to go to that. September 13th through the 15th. Okay. So this could work because that's enough lead time for me to figure this out. It will be at the Crown Plaza, Madison, Wisconsin, located right by the airport, you guys, which is good. All meeting and guest rooms will be being renovated in 2018. Oh, so the Crown Plaza in Madison will be renovated by the time anybody shows up. I wonder if that has something to do with the previous convention. I think that's a call out to the previous, right? It's got to be. It's got to be a call out to the previous. So yeah, September, that one looks like it'll be pretty good, along with some other travel-y project things that are coming up, but that's one that I'm looking at going to. I think that's one that I would have a good time at. Madison, Wisconsin. I think that's one I'm going to try to go to because I'm kind of interested in getting in with maybe getting in with some of the people there and seeing some of the stuff. Maybe bring some of my plecos out there. I don't know. Maybe yeah, maybe no. I don't know. Peter Delaray says I would love to visit one, but we do not have any. That's kind of what I was hitting on right now, is that you kind of got to look around and find out exactly which kind of convention you want to go to. There's also like the Live Bearers Association, which I went to that one last year, which was pretty fun. Smaller convention, but it was fun. Like Lucas Bretz was there. Corey from Aquarium Co-op was there with me. Sergeant Tanks was there with his family. I'm trying to think of who else was there. Turbofish was there. A bunch of other people were there, but that was kind of on the smaller side. It was a lot of fun. And, so I don't know if I'm going to go out of my way to try and go to ones that are already being covered by a lot of YouTubers and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if I'm going to go to Aquashella. I haven't made up my mind. I certainly haven't made up my mind about the Aquatic experience either. I'm sort of on the fence about going to those because they almost just seem like, I don't know. It just seems like there's not a lot of content there for me to make or things to, like, bring back or whatever. The Aquatic Gardeners Association was luckily super close to me, so I was able to drive. Like one day there was really bad traffic, and it was like, I don't know, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, something like that to get up there. So it really wasn't that big of a deal to drive out. I went to the Willamette Valley, which is down in Oregon, and some of the Willamette Valley people came up for the AGA. So like Aquapros came up, Ashley and Andrew came up, which is super awesome to see those guys. I'm trying to think of who else came up from down there. Escaping my mind at the moment. I probably should have made like a list, notation, something like that. But regardless to say, it was a lot of fun to see some of the Oregon people, and there will be a little bit of a highlight on the Oregon thing. Those guys, 'cause they brought me something cool, and I'm not going to show it to you guys till later. That'll be on a edited video. But regardless to say, like, there's a lot of cool conventions that you guys could definitely be going to. Jackson says Cataclysm and CatCon are on alternate years. I think CatCon is in Virginia. Okay, so that's a good tip from Mr. Jackson K. I think they must alternate each year, I guess. Virginia is further than Wisconsin, and then would be next year. So I think it would be better to go to Cataclysm, I guess. But I'm kind of excited to go to that one, especially from when I was talking to Corey about that. That one should be pretty fun to go see some pretty rare catfish and stuff like that, which I'm intrigued to go check out and, take a picture of them. I don't know if I'll buy anything, but it would be fun to definitely go. And I haven't toured any fish rooms in Wisconsin yet, so I definitely want to get that in. But anyhow, so I was at the AGA, and the AGA is a pretty small convention. I would say that's the one downside to it. They put a cap on it, and they put a cap on how many ticket sales and stuff like that were, it was only, I think they only sold 250 tickets. Now, the vendor room was open to the public, so if you wanted to stop by and come check out all the vendor tables and all that kind of stuff, which it definitely wasn't a huge spread. It wasn't like, oh man, I'm not going to be able to make it to all of the vendors. Like, you could definitely tour them all pretty readily in like an hour. You could have gone around to pretty much everything. So, I'm not being critical of that. I'm just saying it was a small thing. I just think the downside is that it was so small, like it was a limited number of tickets even being sold. I think they should have accommodated, a larger group. I think they should have figured out how to do a larger venue, or a larger thing altogether. Like, I think they should have just figured out how to do that. But that's really my one criticism, because it was a lot of fun. I got to hang out with some of the boys from Minnesota. So Jason and Jack came out. We went out to dinner. Got to hang out with Bentley and Barbara Jackson. Definitely a highlight of my getting to. We didn't get to go out and really do anything. It seemed like every time I talked to her about maybe like going to get something to eat or something like that, she like already had plans. So she had a whirlwind tour. She was here with a friend of hers, so they were doing a bunch of stuff together. So it was cool, but it was definitely great to meet her. Best compliment of the weekend to Barbara Jackson. Thank you very much. She says, I look much younger in person. Which I'm not sure if that's a testimonial to my terrible video skills, but or that I just look better in person or something. I don't know. I'm taking it as a compliment, though, because it would be weird to not take it as a compliment, because it was definitely worded that way. And big shout out to Preston. If you guys don't know who Preston is, that is the guy, that is the fella that I got my Shouted-Denny, I don't know how you say it, Scootin' Fruity Puffers. That's where I got my Scootin' Fruity Puffers. So we were able to rock and roll and hang out, and we got to go out. We got to eat lunch. We got to eat a dinner together. So big time shout out to Preston, and I think it's going to work out to be able to go film at Preston's place at some point in time. I hope that that's going to work out. He's doing a big remodel right now, so I don't want to like literally jump on a plane and chase him back to Arizona, but maybe I can get there 2/3 of the way through the remodel and stuff as he's moving his fish room around and things like that, and hopefully get some cool footage. Go out to Preston's place and see what he's got going on down there. But we shall see. It's always a we shall see. And that's just kind of life, because almost everything is just like, let's see if it's gonna work out or not. As you guys know, we got the baby Peanut in the house, who's whoops, I moved the wrong layer. I have it highlighted. Why didn't she move? There we go. We got the baby Peanut here, and to everyone who's a big fan of the bright yellow arrow, hold on, let me find the arrow. Ding. If you guys don't know about the big yellow arrow, then I don't know, man. Maybe you need to get with the times. Oops. I dropped my thing over there. All right, hold on. Yeah. Toothpick chewing. Anyhow, so hopefully I'll be able to go out to Preston's at some point in time and hang out with him and be able to do, film some of the puffer action behind the scenes and stuff. That's kind of what I want to get to, is try and document that kind of stuff. And it seems like to me that the timeline is going to continue to be the big issue, is making sure that if I go to film somebody's fish room, that there's enough time lined out and stuff like that so that I can do a good job of documenting it and then being able to make something out of it that's better than just a click reel, you know. You know, because a click reel always bugs me. It always bugs me when I'm on YouTube and like I just see like a couple of B-roll shots and some weird blast beats and some nonsense, and then it's like, yeah, we were there. Yeah, I'm on my skateboard. You know. So as much as I like that content, it drives me crazy when it's an aquarium video that's like that. And we'll see. You know, we'll see how things go as they go along. But hopefully I'll be able to do a better job in the future. Thomas Glazer with a $5 super chat says, love your species-specific plant episodes. Oh, well, thank you. I really enjoy making them. And thank you for the super chat. That all goes towards making more of those. So let's jump into what that's all about. Let me explain some of that stuff. So, but thanks to Rumbus for the super early chat. My hat's off to you, brother. You've always been a super supporter of the channel, and I appreciate it. And he says he was going to bed, so I just told him to have a good night, and we'll see him tomorrow. So shout out Rumbus. What's up, my bro? Thank you for the super early chat. He does a better job of keeping track of my sobriety date than I do that much anymore. I'm coming up on 1 week from today. If I can make it 1 week from today, I'm gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5 years sober. Right now, today is 1,819 days. So we're coming up. We're coming up on some awesome stuff. And I just got a spam email that I'm going to flag and delete. Thank you. And what's this over here? I got a notification that the babysitter's here. Okay. She's been here all day. Thanks, computer. Let's see. Good job at Ninja Ghost. Let's see. Made it live. Oh, yeah. Good job. Thanks for making it out. But as I mentioned about the Super Chat and the Patreon and all that kind of stuff, if you don't know what the Patreon is, Candy Overhauls has posted a link to it a couple times. Feel like dropping in over there, and if you want to be one of those people that can be as little as $1 a month, you can help fund some of the stuff. I like being able to drive around and road trip and film stuff and make plant species and stuff like that. That's just kind of how we're going. And one of the big projects that we have coming up is the possibility of what we have dubbed a air quote maker space, which is going to be hopefully happening at some point in time. We just haven't been able to hit the budget constraints. And as I've mentioned a few times on the show already, we are we got what's the word I'm looking for here? We just through budget constraints we found some places that we could possibly do the makerspace, but I think we would end up going broke buying ammo just to return fire at some of the nefarious characters that may be inhabiting the other areas around there. So it's not an impossibility yet, but the only downside is I do live in a fairly expensive area as far as any kind of space like that goes that's not inflicted with, you know, like open sewer pipes or like holes in the roof or, you know, like used needles outside all over the ground. You know what I mean? Those kinds of spots, you know what I'm saying? I'm not adverse to the ghetto, but some spots it's just gone too far. You know what I mean? So, you know, so we're continuing to work on that. But one of the other projects that I'm trying to do here, I'm actually getting some small tanks, and I'm going to start doing a project that will be testing equipment against other equipment. So I'm happy to say that it sounds like we should be able to get some test lights out so that, you know, I bought the plumbing, I have the sump, you know, I have all that kind of stuff. lined up right now, and I'm going to be building some stands. I'm going to build a stand for Bentley while I do it. I'm going to build one for Caitlin while I do it and stuff, so that I can make a video about that, and then you guys will be like, oh, here's the small stand, the medium stand, and the big stand. Okay. So we're working on that project, and then, we'll be able to test. The first thing I want to test is lights. So I already have all the substrate and all that kind of stuff I've been purchasing little bit by little bit, and I got a big pile of stuff out in my shop out there. Which reminds me, I got to turn that off on Amazon. Otherwise, they're just going to keep sending me stuff. Because I do the thing where I just subscribe to like a monthly delivery of a bag, like a bag of substrate or whatever. And so I've just been slowly accumulating them as time goes on, and then I'll be able to do all the exact substrate, all plumbed into the same system. So like all the tanks would be, the same substrate, the same water, the same fertilizer, the same system, the same temperature, all of that kind of same stuff, and be able to test them against each other. But I'm obviously not, I don't really want to go out and buy a ton of stuff, right? That I'm may or may not use in the future. Because a perfect example of that would be like the Kessel lights. Kessel lights are like $400, $500 or something like that. So we don't have that kind of. We don't have that. I don't have that kind of scratch lying around just to test to see if it'll grow aquarium plants. You guys know that I've bought a bunch of the Fluval 3.0s. I got some of the 3.0s sponsored by Aquarium Co-op and also by Fluval. So, I definitely recommend the Fluval 3.0 light, but I want to have something that is actually documented to go like, okay, which one just works the best, period, regardless of cost. So, I talked with the Kessel guys. I talked with some other people about whether or not they'd be able to, just send me a test light that I can use for a while. I'll send it back. I don't care. And I said, if you don't want me to send it back, I'll just give it away. So, it's like, I don't want any of that free stuff. I literally like to make and do tests and stuff like that. I just, you run into the wall of going like, oh man, this thing's going to cost like a lot of money to pull this off, and you guys know I'm fully happy to like leverage my I'll leverage my credit cards against stuff to like do projects and things. As you guys know, I did that with the 120 gallon tanks, I'm happy to do that kind of stuff, but I do have to bear in mind that hold on, we got to make the arrow bigger so that it illustrates what I'm talking about. The little peanut right here, I do have to bear in mind that I got to keep things like to a dull roar of being like taking crazy risks with just trying to test an aquarium light. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not like I bought some stocks and bonds or something like that and was like, oh, we're just counting on the stock market to go up and it'll be a future and should be able to go to college or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, I bought some aquarium lights. So we'll see how that goes. That's kind of one of the other projects that regardless of what's going on, and I'd initially put Dennerle up to do that project, and then give away the tanks at the AGA. But seeing as how the AGA has come and gone, I don't want to throw Dennerle under the bus or nothing like that. I like Dennerle. I like them a lot. I think they're a great company, but the first company that I brought that to was those guys, and then I was going to give them away at AGA, and then that never came through. It never happened. Never came to fruition. So it's not the worst thing ever. But we do have a brand new member here. We got Reed Hataja, and I hope I said your name right. But we got a new member today during the show. It's been a long time since we got a new member during the show, you guys. So what's the membership all about? You get some perks. You get some emojis. You get, you have unrestricted chat. Basically, you can kind of chat as fast or as slow or whatever. And I'm not sure. I think you're on a shorter delay also. And there's some other perks and stuff like it. There's only going to be more perks for the membership, but like maybe if you don't want to go to Patreon and sign up for a Patreon account or whatever, you could become a member on YouTube on platform and not really like have to go anywhere. Keith Handsaw, I have an Aquarium 36 bow front with a weak light. Is there upgrade that fits the existing mounts on the hood, like just replacing the LED part of it? I am unsure what Aquarium has as far as their upgrade goes, but personally for me, I got out of the bow fronts a really long time ago, and one of the big reasons for that was the viewing range on a bow front tank just drives me bonkers. I don't know. I'm just not a fan. Like, I can't take a good to scale picture or anything like that, so I'm unsure what it is, but if I were you and I had that set up and I wanted to replace the light in it, the first thing I would do is replace it with like an LED deal. And even if it has the screw bulb end on it, which is the whatever 36, I think is what it's called. Then yeah, I would replace that with an LED version that hopefully does a better job and gives you a more accurate spectrum. You know, as far as the standard goes, like if somebody has a tank out there and they really want to try something, I highly recommend trying out the Fluval 3.0 light. It is a fantastic light. I have not had a problem growing anything under it, and my tanks are all 24 inches tall. So bear in mind that my tanks are taller than most people's, the average tank out there. So I would bear in mind, I would bear that in mind, that I have not had a problem growing really any plant under them, other than, fertilizer or CO2, which that's really variable as far as a planted tank goes. But I've been successful growing just about everything under those lights, and they worked out great. LG3 Nation, a brand new member, right on. He says, just realized I'm not a member. All right. Hey, man, maybe there's other people out there that have forgotten that they were... maybe they don't know that they're a member, or maybe they just forgot to sign up. You can click that join button on there, and for like iPhone people, I guess it's super difficult to like do it. So I'm sure the mods have posted it up in the chat. You can, Mellow Moogle posted it right there. You can click on her comment, and it'll take you over to the thing. Let's see. Aquascapes OR. Hey, man, what did you get for your aquariums? If you guys don't know, Aquascapes OR is Andrew, who I was talking about earlier, Andrew and Ashley, which I have to admit, I'm wildly appreciative that we have come in contact and become, we're new friendships. We have a new friendship here. We have a burgeoning little baby. Well, that's a baby, but this is a friendship baby. It's more ethereal. It's more of an ethereal baby kind of deal. Like it's, you have to think about it. It's in space. You know what I mean? But I'm super appreciative that we've become friends, and I really hope that it continues to, our friendship continues to grow. They're a great couple, and I really like them a lot. Really talented, and I hope we just keep getting to be able to kind of like do some projects hopefully down the road here or something like that. June 1st, I'm going to hopefully... Is it June 1st? I think that their big 1-year anniversary is on June 1st down at Willamette Valley in Oregon, and I think I'm going to try and make that. I think I'm going to try and drive down and make that. Because I kind of scouted the area, last time I was down there. And I think it would be a lot of fun for me to take Vicky and Olivia down and go to that, and we'll see. Like we'll see if we can pull that off. I think we'll be able to pull that off, but I'm not 100% sure. I think when I looked up and when I checked my schedule, I don't know if you guys have this problem. We have like 3 Google calendars that all like link up and sometimes don't link up, and then they do link up, and then sometimes they don't, and it's like, I don't know, and like Vicky will put something in, and then she's like, I swore I put something in there, So I'm going to double check and make sure that that's going to work out. It might, I don't know. To be brutally honest, I almost want to see if Vicky and I can go to just drive down. And I love Olivia, but we have not had just like a day away from our baby since she was born. And I swear, it sounds like I'm ungrateful, but she's a beautiful, lovely, healthy baby. I couldn't have asked for anything more, except for maybe like the Cyclops laser eyes. Maybe if she had Cyclops laser eyes, maybe that's an upgrade that we could all agree is a tenable, solid upgrade, baby style. But other than that, I couldn't ask for anything more. But it might be a fun little trip for Vicky and I to go down and go to a little fish club meeting, walk around in Oregon in the nice air, maybe go on a hike or something. I don't know. See what happens. Whew. I feel like I've been talking on this show for a really long time. Crash says at Corvus, that's me, plants adsorb nutrients from ferts better in soft water than in hard water. I've already asked about it to George Farmer, and he told me that it's true. Why it happens? Well, the reason for that is hard water has a different exchange with CO2 uptake than soft water. So if you think about it, hard water is less able to take on CO2 quite easily because there's more stuff dissolved in the water. There's just those spaces are already kind of being taken up. That's kind of the big deal. But I will say this, I've done a bunch of tests in the past with the aragonite tanks and stuff like that, which I basically had to make. I was basically making hard water in the aquarium right next to a soft water aquarium. And the big deal that is missing from those aquariums, it's not so much light. Fertilizers, yes, just do the same kind of fertilizer. You don't have to do anything crazy. You guys know I use the Easy Green line, and it works fantastically. It will grow pretty much anything. It's micro, macro. You got the iron separate. It's pretty easy to do, and that's the whole point of it, and it works well. But the big thing that is always going to be a detriment with trying to grow aquarium plants in really, really hard water is CO2. So as long as you can get your CO2 injected properly into the tank, you can grow plants in there. It's not optimal. It's not the most optimal thing, but you can definitely pull it off, and it's something that you could definitely do. Big D Smoke, what's up, my guy? I thought I was going to meet you at the AGA. It didn't work out. I think just a Big D, send me an email. We'll just go get a coffee at Starbucks or something, because there was a couple other people. Demo Markham, I saw Demo there, which was awesome to meet him. I saw Bob Steenfott there. It was good to meet him for the first time. He's super cool. He's really tall, you guys. He's really tall. So keep that in mind. Zenzo was there from Zazawa's Tanks. You know, we go way back to 1982. Who else was there? Dorkula was there, which was awesome. Who else was there? I don't know. I'm forgetting, and people are going to pop into my head, so it's not like I'm, intentionally forgetting anybody. But let's see. What was I talking about? I forget now. Where did it go? Oh, yeah, the hard water. So you can definitely do it in hard water. You can definitely grow them in hard water. But, just inject that CO2. And then Big D Smoke. Oh, yeah. We're going to have to go get a coffee at some point in time. Says, every parent knows that feeling. My son was almost 2 before me and his mom went to New York for a week. Ooh. Yeah, see, I feel like Vicky and I, for a little day trip, crash out, just let Vicky sleep while I stay awake, because Vicky likes to go to sleep at 7 p.m. like she's 100, and then I'm like, I'm going to go to sleep at 11:45. I'm going to get up at 4:15. That's going to be a solid 4.5 hours sleep, and then I'm going to be awake, and I'm going to be really tired. You know how it is. Prime should not be played with. It has bleaching effects. Who's playing? FYI, a little squirt of Prime on a coworker's chair makes a great prank. Smell goes away pretty quick. Oh, that's, yeah. try not to prank with chemicals. You never really know when somebody could be like wildly allergic to something or like that. Let's see here. You didn't see Big Steen at Aquatic Experience? I didn't see him at Aquatic Experience. I didn't see him there. This was the first time I met him just this last weekend. Cheshire Cat says, I have really hard water, but don't use CO2. A lot of plants are doing well, though. Maybe not fast growing, but alive. That's good. Yeah, I mean, people freaking out about hard water is a little bit overrated. Use some good soil. If you have good soil, good light, maybe you could even use a little bit of liquid carbon, and that will probably just really set you on the right pace. I mean, you know, plants will slowly but surely soften out the water because it's going to use some of the stuff from the water column in order to make it softer, basically. You know, it's going to use some of that stuff up, and you can naturally kind of go about it that way. And you know, you could even plan on setting up a tank that, you know, a planted aquarium that you really only top off with RODI water or something like along those lines. That is, you know, a pre-filtered water that you could just top it, bring it back up, and then, you know, although you are kind of playing a bit of a balancing act, it's not that hard to do. You just have to be really kind of cognizant of what you're doing as far as adding fertilizer, taking away fertilizer, and timing your lights and stuff like that. Your sleep schedule sounds like me and my woman. Yeah, what's up, Celtics fan? How you doing? Yeah, I don't know. These days I'm starting to sleep more and more like I'm in a coma. So kind of go to bed at midnight and get up at 5. Or I think I'm going to bed now at like 11 and getting up at 5. So that's not too bad. Like 6 hours is pretty good as far as I'm concerned. But I'm just out, you know. I'm trying to get some concrete work done this afternoon too. Before Vicky gets home. I'll have to start dinner and then get out there and hopefully get some of the forms laid out and that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to pour any concrete today. I don't even have any. But today was crazy chalk with a whole bunch of crazy errands and stuff. Maybe I'll talk about that on Wednesday. It's a little too fresh in my mind. I'll talk about it right now. Ninja Ghost is wondering, would shop vac foam filters be safe to use for aquarium filters? I seriously doubt it. There's a possibility that they are, but I really, really, really would doubt it, you know, that would be the case. Where's my Amazon links? Amazon. If, where did it go? I've got it in here somewhere. Oh, I have to sign in. That's why I had fixed something on this computer and had to restart it. Sign me in. Come on and sign me up for Amazon. It's a free commercial, but they are also an affiliate sponsor, so maybe somebody buys something from there and maybe it's not a free commercial. That's the worst song I've ever heard. I think Amazon should buy that song for $2 billion. And then I'll up their Amazon spheres. I'll see their Amazon spheres and I'll raise them Amazon cubes. Oh, right? You know? Does anybody know about the Amazon spheres? You should probably look those up. The AGA actually got to tour out there on the Thursday. The Aquatic Gardeners Association drove out there and got to do a tour, which looks really cool. There's some aquariums in there. There's plants growing all over the walls and chaos. So it looked like fun. But let's go to... God, I'm on the wrong page here. Hold on. Wait. I don't want to be on the affiliate page. I just want to be on the Amazon page. Amazon, what are you doing? All right, here. I got to go to this link and then go find it. So where's my pond filter? Pond fill. It's like doing autofill nonsense. Sorry, guys. This is the least entertaining part of the show, and I apologize for that. But that's life sometimes, you know. Here we go. If you're if you're having filter problems, I feel bad for you, son. But if you're trying to find a super cheap alternative, you have to cut your own if that's what you want to do. Or you could go to a aquarium co-op and buy the pre-cut filters there and just buy a whole bunch of them and then you'll be cool. And Corey will send you a giant box of them, and you'll be cool with that. Or you just buy a roll and cut your own like I do. And I get those off of Amazon, or, you know, you can go to Aquarium Co-op and you get the right size cut ones, or the sheets from there. Aquarium. Oh, speaking of Aquarium Co-op, he's got his sights set on the Aquarium Co-op pyramids. All right. I was saying I see the spheres, I'd raise them cubes, but you got a good point. If I do the cubes, you could do the pyramids, and then George Farmer was mentioned earlier. Maybe George Farmer could figure out the dodecahedron or something. I don't know. He'd be like, figure out some other shape that he wants to make, like he'd probably have to do the hexagon, or the rhombus, or the trapezoid. What's that shape that has the round side, but it's I don't know. I don't want to get into that. It's going to make everybody wonder. Candy Overhauls posted the link to the Amazon shop in case you want to go find all that kind of stuff, and you can definitely do that there. And the filter media from the coop, posted by Mellow Moogle. All right, there we go. We got the mods here, hot and fresh. I forgot. I did the one show on Saturday, and none of the mods knew I was going live, and I just forgot what it's like to have our illustrious moderator team here. We've got Joel Gillett, Alyssa Bentley, Mellow Moogle, and Candy Overhauls in the house, dropping links and letting you guys know what's up. Woo! Got to get a little Ric Flair in there for you. All right, let's get on to the part of what I got from the AGA, because as I mentioned earlier, one of the things that I like to do is to test equipment and find things out, what works, what doesn't work, and try and at least give you some of the ups and downs of what could be happening or what couldn't be happening in your future if you were to get something off of the internet. Now, these tongs right here, I think are $4.99 at the Aquarium Co-op. You can order these in conjunction with a couple of plants, or maybe you're going to get some Easy Green, or maybe you're going to get a new filter or a light or whatever, and you were like, oh, I need some tongs. And if you're like me, you specifically need... So here's the two tools that I really use, right? The scissors and the tongs. This is pretty much it, realistically, when you get down to it. You know, I use these for planting, and I use these for trimming, and then I plant with these, and then I pull up with these, and then I plant something else with these, and then I stab things with these, and I open up a package with these, and then I break these, and, and I say these too many times on the internet, and then I get flagged for spamming the word these. Now, these are the cheap ones. I've had these specific Tweezle Twazzles, as we call them. And you know what? Corey and I are discussing. His say Aquarium Co-op on them now. There's a little thing. They're like emblazoned on there somehow. Some kind of wizardry that we will never understand. Us plebes down here in the dredges, living in the gutters, will never understand how they did that. But they do have an Aquarium Co-op thing on them, which goes to show you just how old these are. These didn't even ever have the Aquarium Co-op logo on them. These ones are quite old, and guess what? You hear that? Can we hear the sounds of the Tweezle Twazzles in the night? Yeah. Oh, when we tweezle, we twazzle, and it makes a weird little noise. I think if you guys can hear my baby crying in the background, I bet you guys can hear that. These work fantastically. They still work great. They have maybe a couple little spots on them. I think this is spray paint, honestly. I think this is overspray. Yep. This is overspray of spray paint when I was spray painting something. And they work great. They still work. They get bent out of whack. You can just bend them right back into straight. Not a problem. Like I said, they're cheap. I use them all the time. So if you're somebody out there that's like, hey, I want to use the cheap ones, there you go. Perfect option, accessible to pretty much anybody, and that works great, right? Now, Aquavitro has come up with, Seachem came up with the Aquavitro line. They're trying to break into the old Planet Aquarium scene, and they came up with these curved fine tip forceps, right? Now, full disclosure, I got these for free. So take my opinion with a grain of salt, right? I got these for free. So I'm trying them out for you guys under the guise that they are free, but you cannot buy these online. You have to go to a store. Now that to me is an immediate, that to me personally is like, I gotta go to a store. I don't want to go to a store. But now their thought process is they're trying to support the local stores by providing some good products that will only be available into stores. And I'm like, oh, I see where you all's coming from. Okay, now that makes sense to me because my immediate thought process is 100% selfish that I'm like, I don't want to go to a store. I don't want to drive anywhere. Oh, my God. But when I talk to them about that, they're like, hey, all of our fertilizers, all that kind of stuff, these tools, all that kind of stuff will only be available in stores. That's the only place you can get them. And they're just trying to support the local stores and stuff like that. So as I mentioned earlier, if you're going to go out and try and get some of these tools, you have to go somewhere to get them. So you probably would need to avoid going to Petco or PetSmart and find your local guy and be like, hey, get me the Aquavitro line. I want to come in. I want to buy this one, that one, that one. Let me know when they get in. Most local stores are cool like that, where they'd be like, oh, you want one of the scissors and one of the curve? Okay, cool. I'll get those next time I get CChem stuff, and I'll have them here for you. They're a little bit higher quality, but they are a much higher price point. That being said, these ones I bought a pair of these when I was in Oregon, and I think that they were $12, and Oregon has no sales tax, you guys. So up here, that would be roughly 13 and change, right? After sales tax and whatnot. And so, if you think about it, that like these are $4.99 or $3.99, and you don't have to go anywhere to get them, versus these, they're, you can get 3 pairs of these, and you only get 1 pair of these. But as I said, they're heavier. You can see kind of the difference between them, which when you get down to the functionality, right, the functionality isn't that different. Like the curve to them is the same. You can see that the curve is pretty much the same, the angle, all that kind of stuff. The pincing area is about the same. They tweezle, they twazzle, they do all that kind of stuff. And then this one's, say, Aquavitro on them in that weird, mysterious emblazoning that is on there. So what that means is you got to make a choice. You just make a personal choice about whether you want the expensive ones or not. As I mentioned, I got these for free, but I don't even have an affiliate link or anything like that because no one sells them online, so I can't even link to anything and be like, oh, hey, check them out. Another thing that I got from them is the foreground shears. I can't even really tell you about these. They're just super wacky, and I'm going to let you know later on if they work or not. I can't tell you one way or another if it's a good idea or a bad idea at this point, because you guys know as much as I know is that they're crazy, wacky scissors, and I think they were like $26.99 or something like that. So pretty high price point, considering they kind of really only do one thing. They're supposed to be for foreground trimming, so it's like lawn mowing in your aquarium. I don't know if it's going to be good or it's going to be bad. I don't know. Yeah. Now these I am pretty excited about. I got to use a similar pair of these a little while ago, and as they say there, they're curved. They're spring shears. Just let's eliminate the curved part. They're spring shears. They happen to be curved, but this curve is not something that is very impressive. They're spring shears. Now, I got to use a pair of these a while ago. Like, they're curved, but here's the thing that's really useful about these. Boink, 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 boink. Close, open, open, close. Closing, opening, closing, opening, closing, closing, open, up. Cool. Got to use those a while ago, so I'm going to beat the life out of those and see how well they hold up, and we'll do a versus by versus at some point in time. But those I'm kind of excited about. functionality-wise, great for a nano aquarium. Not the best thing ever in a big giant aquarium, but I will try them out, and we shall see how it goes. And I'll let you know some ins and some outs and some ups and some downs. Now, moving on. Oh, I gave you guys a preview. If you guys are actually watching and not only listening, I just gave you a preview. Whoa, what's that? He held up a pot with some kind of weird leafy stuff in it. Now, I want to let you guys know, I did buy some plants there. That was the one thing I did spend my money on. Bentley bought a plant, and we split them, and I got to give him some money for that, which reminds me, Bentley, I'll send you some bucks, my bro. And Alyssa actually brought me some of the plants that I got outbid on. It just, a bunch of the stuff during the auction was going like way over any kind of price I would pay. But I get it, man. People are desperate for the stuff that they really want, and they were there at the time, and they were going to throw down the cash and just get it done. So I get it. What I don't get is people putting in stuff into an auction with a minimum bid of a really high price. Like, there were some items that popped up that were a plant cuttings in a bag that were I saw, and there might have been some that were higher, but I literally saw some that were minimum $50. Like, minimum $50. Start the bidding at $50. So, and I was like, I don't know, man. That seems a little bit weird to me and a little bit of a reach, you know. Like, kind of the whole reason for having an auction is that you kind of are running the risk of putting stuff into an auction, whether you think it's good or not. And one of those things is that, like, you know, one of those things that's kind of irritating about that is that the people that were in the auction were getting a payout. They're getting a payout from the stuff that was auctioned, and the club gets a payout for stuff that was in the auction. I'm not assured as to what the percentages are, but it's almost like, you know, people just wanting a guarantee at an auction just seems really weird. Like, just put it up for sale then, you know? Like, it just seems bizarre to me to bring it all the way down to an auction and be like, you know, because stuff came up as like $50 minimum bid, and then like no one bid. They were just like, yeah, $50. That's no, you know. We're not starting at 50, and it was just like, okay, we'll just put them back in the return pile over here. I don't know. It seems weird. Yeah. Bentley says just keep them alive in case he messes up. I'm gonna grow them and I'm gonna sell them at a minimum bid for $50 at my personal auction in my own backyard where no one's there. But don't worry, I'll be barbecuing, and hopefully somebody will show up for my barbecue. I don't know. I'm taking a crazy sidebar here because I got to take a sidebar back because I saw that Aquascapes Oregon said he left because he was going to go listen to what he was talking about them from earlier, and he didn't want to stick around for the show, so he's leaving. So now we can talk about him again now that he's gone. But as I was mentioning earlier, I really appreciate a burgeoning friendship, and I was listening to a podcast a little while ago that mentioned, and the reason I bring this up is because I hope maybe there's somebody out there that hears this and it will help them out. Some people were concerned about the rising rates of suicide rates with hold on, what is this? I don't know what this is. I don't know. But the rising suicide rates in middle-aged males in the United States, and the correlation behind, you know, middle-aged men in the United States, really, your friendships really dwindle off. You know what I mean? And they really dwindle off, and you start to lose them over the years, just for, you know, people geographically moving, they get a family, they get a this, they get a that. And it's very much, it's a thing that's occurring in the United States, and one of the reasons they believe that this is going on is that middle-aged men just end up not really having that many friends. You know, it's like, you know, you're 40-something years old and you're not really tied to whether or not anyone really thinks you're all that important or anything like that at that point in time in your life. And you start to lose a lot of your friends and you're not like, oh, I really got to reach out to them or whatnot. And one of the things that they recommended in there was making some new friendships, because it seems to be that as people get older, they don't make more new friends that much, you know, except for like people at work and stuff like that. And I just have to admit, thank you to the aquarium hobby that to be able to add some people to my actual real life friends list. I'm not talking about subscribers or Facebook only people or stuff like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I very much appreciate that, like actually getting to meet up with some people in person and be like, yeah, I'm totally crazy. And it turns some people off, that's for sure, because they're like, man, this guy's nuts. I don't want to be this guy's friend. I want to be somebody else's friend. And that's fine. You get to do what you got to do. And but I would definitely recommend to anybody out there that's in the middle age, just get some little hobbies like an aquarium hobby and start meeting some cool new friends and stuff like that. Bentley says, most I've seen for sale was like $10 per stem. Rotella Florida Kramer, which is a hybrid with a very different leaf shape. I saw some Rotella Florida Kramer for sale on Facebook just the other night. Just this morning, actually. And I think they had a big bunch of them there. I think they had a big bunch for like $35. So that seemed normal. And I think that included the shipping. I saw that on Facebook earlier today. Tom Barr had also posted some white Ludwigia, and I was like, oh, hey, man, I might want some of that. And he was like, sold out. Which makes sense. I should have just like phoned him up or something. Let's see here. Oh, Multi-Tank Addiction. What's up, Chris? Good to see you. Somebody retracted their message. I was going to read it. New Mexico Aquatics, what's up? You retracted your message. It went away. LG3 Nation says, I need new friends. No one I grew up with likes the same things I do anymore. That's a perfect example right there. You can definitely hit that middle age and you're like, everybody's got kids, everybody's got a family, people move away. People got different interests and stuff like that. So that was one of the reasons I want to do I really want to do the makerspace. You know what I mean? I really want to do that makerspace. Even if it is just like 30 people come out to check it out every once in a while. Like, obviously, maybe not all at the same time, but like maybe 5 people come out and 5 people come out and 5 people come out and 5 people come out. And it's just kind of building a little bit of a community down here in the South End. And a lot of people had mentioned to me, like, why don't you just do it where Fish Club does it down where you're at? And there isn't a Fish Club down here. So there isn't really one in the area. And then they're like, well, why don't you start a Fish Club? And I'm like, well, that's kind of what a makerspace would be, right? Like, if we started to fund that and then, maybe we got some sponsorship and we could fly out people, maybe post the stuff up onto YouTube and maybe start a Fish Club in a different way than just having weird meetings in the dark somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, film them. Do some spotlights of the people that are growing this stuff instead of just, oh, hey, I got this thing from over here. I talked to somebody who was at the AGA, which is he's very interested in kind of expanding just at least his presence and stuff like that. And, so hopefully people can kind of get to know him and stuff. And I'm like, well, a makerspace would be perfect for somebody like that doesn't have a whole bunch of display stuff or whatever, but could definitely bring stuff out and get kind of cool with things. And here's where I got that from, is bipetshrimp.com. And if you don't know who Eric Lucas is, very nice guy, very personal dude. He's definitely like, I think he's originally from Texas, and I don't want to say that and be wrong and offend him or anything, but it feels like he's from Texas. Maybe he's from Oklahoma. I don't know. Maybe he's from California, but he lives in California. He's down there doing bipetshrimp.com. He has some really high-quality shrimp. Definitely, feel free to check out his website. It's pretty easy to go find bipetshrimp.com. That's pretty easy. He's been at Aquatic Experience and a couple other places. And one of the plants that he brought with him, if you guys have never seen this before, I wonder if we can highlight this from this camera. I mean, I'll do some close-ups of this later. But this is a tissue culture right here. If you've never seen a tissue culture before, this is the gel that grows down below here. That's a fertilizer gel. This is what helps keep it grow, keep it moist. Keep it moist, my bros. Keep it moist. Don't make it totally weird, but keep it moist. As you can see, it's a tissue culture, so it grows really vibrant in the pot and stuff like that, but it is immersed grown, so you do have to convert it. Even though it is a tissue culture, you still have to convert it. But this plant right here is Alternanthera renekii Rosanervig, which is a variegation of Alternanthera renekii. Has some really cool leaves, you guys. So we're very excited. I'm very excited about growing this. And I got this plant. I bought it from Eric. It's one of the plants I bought from Eric. I bought a few others, so stay tuned. We're going to be planting those, and I'm going to do some walkthrough specific videos, as the super chat from earlier had mentioned. You know, they were dropping. Who was it? Dropped a super chat. Let me see here. Thomas Glazer dropped a super chat. Says, love the species specific plant episodes. Which you know what? I want to keep making those. I really do, and you know, it's support is what keeps that stuff coming. And that's kind of one of the big things about the makerspace. I'd like to bring in some of the people that actually have found or maybe described some of the plants, and you know, work through stuff like that, and you know, just do some interesting stuff. And maybe it would end up being like a fish club down here, but you know, maybe it would. But you know, ultimately my plan is to not have to be hyper responsible for like email lists and all that kind of crazy stuff, because that's not my forte. So if I was to sign myself up for things that I'm not that great at, I'd like to build out the space, be able to film it, you know, operate the tanks, grow the plants in the tanks, throw some events, that kind of stuff. That's what I'd like to do. And maybe we find somebody that really wants to orchestrate it into a club at some point in time, or those kinds of things. But I don't want to start out trying to do something that I'm not that great at. You know, I'm not even good at emailing my accountant back, who was like, called me last week and was like, "Did you die?" And I was like, "No, I just keep forgetting to email you back because I'm not great at that right now. I don't know, whatever." But maybe someday it will become a club or whatever, and maybe it'll grow, and maybe it'll turn into something. But you know, there isn't a fish club down here to be able to do that. So, but trying to make some connections, get that kind of stuff going. That's what we're kind of working on. So we'll see how it goes. Barbara Jackson got some of those cool bare root bromeliads and a piece of cork. I'm so sorry, I forgot the cool dude and his cool booth that I purchased them from. Very nice stuff. Yes, that was really, you got some really cool plants there and stuff like that. I tried to avoid just buying a bunch of stuff in the way of people that like flew out to the area and stuff like that. You know, and people are like, well, you should just buy whatever you want to buy. And I was like, well, you know, I kind of have some access to certain deals that I can just kind of like order that kind of stuff, even if it is pretty rare a lot of times. So you know, if I'm at those kinds of conventions and stuff like that, I don't feel like it's really all that appropriate to just like step on other people's toes that like flew all the way out. All right. Well, we've about 40 people left. Must not be interesting enough for them. They all left. I don't know. But Reed Hataja, who has become a brand new Patreon during the show, thank you very much, and also became a member. Wow, that's a double whammy. Kim Sampson became a Patreon yesterday, and Jordan Bay became a Patreon the day before. So, hey, slowly but surely, we'll get closer and closer and closer. New Mexico Aquatic says, my name is Little Bobby. That's old Little Bobby. Can we be fishy internet friends? Of course. Hopefully we'll get to hang out someday at a convention or whatever. Let's see. Jackson K says, all of these crazy plants are starting to move into the New York area. historically big cichlid territory, but slowly moving to an aquascaped and nanofish. Yeah, that's really that really is, that's really what's kind of happening. It's starting to spread. It's starting to gain popularity. And you know what? You think of an area like New York. I mean, I think there's like in New York State, there's like 30 million people or something like that. Hold on. New York State population. There we go. Oh, 19.54 million. Is that the state or is that just the city? New York. What do we got here? Well, I clicked on something weird. There we go. What is the population of New York in 2018? Okay, so the city is 8.6 million as of 2017. Okay, so the full state is 19.54. So let's just call it 20 million because I bet a bunch of people from Connecticut just kind of fall over they just fall right over the edge anyhow, right? So yeah, about 20 million people there. So you got to think, like, even if you get, let's say you got 1% of the population out there to be interested in Planet Aquariums, like, you would suddenly be inundated with hundreds of thousands of people if you got like 1% interested, right? You would suddenly be inundated with hundreds of thousands of people, So, yeah, that does not shock me. Even if you got 1/2 of 1%, right? You got half of 1%, so 1 out of every 200 people suddenly interested in, like, the Rosanna Vig, right? Like, all of a sudden, you'd have so many people to deal with, it would blow your mind. So, I mean, I literally have like 20,000 subscribers on my channel here that is small, I got a small channel. And if it was 1% of New York, that's 195,000. Although Corey's channel is bigger than that. So, that's a thing. It's possible. Jason Smith, Alabama is a dead zone for fish and aquatic plants. Well, that's why places like Aquarium Co-op are doing great business, being able to ship to you some awesome plants in a really good, professional, honest way. It's a perfect way to do it. See? You can just order it and come right to your door. So that's what I would do. I'm in a spot that's really hard to go to places anyhow, and I will order stuff and have it delivered here because it's like, it might only be 35 miles away or something like that, but it would probably take me 7 hours to drive out there, shop for something, and drive back, Chad Krotz with a $10 super chat, keeping me on the air here while the super chat's there. I was about to end the show. But I got a $10 super chat. We can't end the show because we got a $10 super chat from Chad. Says, to the makerspace, get that up and running, planning a summer cruise from Seattle next year. Oh, okay, that would be awesome. Jeff Mueller, in your heavily planted tank, how much easy green do you dose every week, and when do you dose iron? I have a whole bunch of heavily planted aquariums, so it would be difficult for me to explain that, but, 1 pump per 10 gallons, I think is what is advised on the bottle. And let's see. So my 150 is, let's just be conservative here and say 180 gallons altogether. And, but I dose every third day. So not every other day, but every third day. And I think I do in that one right now 7. So 14. So a little bit more than recommended by the end of the week, but I'm spacing it out. And iron, I just do like half as much iron. So if I do 7, I do 3.5 pumps, or probably 4, realistically. And I just do it at the same time because I just cannot be bothered to lose my mind about when iron gets dosed or not, because it's going in and it'll be fine. Some people out there are really striving for these little incremental improvements, and I get it, 100% get it. I don't know if they're like independently wealthy or something, or maybe they're just not that busy in their lives. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm super busy and I just don't have time to waste hypothesizing about things like whether or not my iron's going to get picked up properly unless I do it in the morning or the afternoon or the night or any of that kind of stuff. So HDJC86 says, I want to silicone some wood to the glass rather than wait for it to sink. Will I be able to remove it later? Yes, you will be able to remove it later. Yeah, that's a great way to add some driftwood into a tank, like as you're setting it up. You can silicone it in there and then add your substrate in. Works great. Chances are it'll probably pull free from, like the driftwood itself will probably pull free from the silicone before you even go to remove it. And the silicone can just be removed with a razor blade. Nice sharp razor blade will get it right off of there. And that's just, that's not that difficult. It's not that difficult to get off, but just a nice sharp razor blade will do that. Pistol Putts, brand new member coming in today. Man, this might be a record. We might have a barn burning record down here today. 1, 2, 3. No, 3's not the record. It just felt like a lot. But 3's not the record. But thank you very much for becoming a member. We're trying to get into the triple digits. We've never experienced what it's like to be in the triple digits of membership. And we're pretty far off still, but much appreciated. Let's see. Cheshire Cat says, is there really 103 people here, or is the counter wrong for you? 108, actually. The counter on YouTube is behind the actual tracking counter that's on over here. So we're at 108 people. We were, what was our peak for the day? Our peak total for the day is over here on the counter. 134. 134 was our peak today. That's one thing you do. You got all of us metro people. Montana has open roads pretty much anywhere. What did Candy say? What did Candy say? Let's see. Barbara Jackson says, glad I'm from the Bay Area, also land of traffic, so I was pretty used to the heavy traffic. But for an area of lighter population, you folks really are trying for the Traffic Jam Awards. Let's see. I know we looked this up before. And so, yeah, let's see what we got here. Washington. Let's see here. Where is the population? Yeah, the state of Washington has over 7.3 million inhabitants, placing it as the 13th most populous state in the country. So there's only 12 other states with more people than Washington. So there's a lot of people here. 7.3 million isn't like a mind-blowing number or anything like that. But when you actually look at the concentration of population, that's just King, Snohomish, and Pierce County. So it's like a 3-county area. Now, our counties are pretty big, so let's not forget about that. But the counties are pretty big, but there's basically like 7 million people in those 3 counties, and then everybody else is kind of spread out throughout the crazy, how big Washington is, So there's a pretty high population here in comparison to most everything else. It's like what does that mean? If we're the 13th, there's 36 other states with a lower population. So that gives you kind of an idea that Washington seems pretty small, but you kind of add it up, you're like, oh, okay, it's not the smallest state, that's for sure. Multi-Tank Addiction used to be a lurker until he started his own channel. Ooh, there we go. What was HD asking before? Okay. I don't know. Hopefully I answered your question before, because I remember you asked something that was interesting. But HDJC says at 3 DKH, I add CO2 to drop my pH from 7.5 to 6.4 in line with the KH pH chart on bar report. Does this mean I can't keep cherry shrimp in there? I would consider you could keep cherry shrimp in there, because cherry shrimp are super hardcore, honestly. But if I was doing that and I was running it at 6.4, I would just start going for crystal shrimp. If that was an established tank that you're running and you know it's pretty consistently doing that, I would rock and roll with some crystal shrimp, because you'll be in probably a lot better shape realistically than you'd be kind of supplying, like, not an optimal environment for the cherry shrimp, but they probably would survive that. You know what I mean? Dr. Wigglespank says lots of shy people watching. Happens in most chats, though. Yeah, that's how it goes. A lot of people are listening right now and doing something else, so they're not necessarily in the chat. By the time that this uploads, renders, then gets posted as a regular video, then sits there for a while, about 2,000 people will view this, and then I'm not sure. We post it up onto the podcast, so the Podbean, but I don't do that, and I don't have the analytics, so I have no idea what it looks like for that kind of stuff. And as I've mentioned in some of the other streams, I've been building out a new studio. I'm talking about I might have a new schedule coming up, but that means we'll probably have guests and stuff, which I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to have more guests on. I tried to get Alyssa to come on today, but she's super sick. So, she couldn't do it. She's sick. She was sneezing and coughing, and she probably was hanging out at the convention and caught somebody else's cold, which is what seems to happen whenever anybody goes to a convention these days in 2018. Get your shots, folks. Stay healthy out there. All right, here we go. Oh, there's Jack. What's up, Jack? Good to see you, buddy. Hope I make it out to Minnesota soon and we can hang out, and I can go to your house this time and, I don't know, maybe help you hang some drywall, or maybe film one of your fish tanks or something. Or maybe hang out in a pole barn. Yeah. Maybe we'll hang out in a pole barn. Everybody out there knows what a pole barn is, right? Right? Yeah. You guys know what I'm talking about. Buffalo Roll with the 99-cent super chat. That was just like the automated one. Fish Tank Barn with the 1.99 super chat said, "Let's keep him going." Well, the super chats have worn out. The memberships have worn out. You got to say hi to Jack. Oh, Kathleen just showed up. Hi, Kathleen. Oh, I don't want to leave you hanging. I always feel bad if I'm leaving somebody hanging. But it's good to see you, Kathleen. Caitlin M says, "I'm on the train commuting home from work. I have no good excuse for lurking instead of chatting." Oh, Caitlin. Yeah, everybody has. Hey, it's all the same. Anybody you're just not chatting, you're just not. I like it when you guys chat. I like it when you guys comment. All that kind of stuff. Dr. Wigglespank is just starting with his first planted tank. I'm assuming it's a he. Sorry. I didn't mean to assign a gender or not. So doing lots and lots of research, found some awesome channels like this one. Yeah, you just gotta keep rocking and rolling and do what you can, do some research and keep working. A little trial and error. Start out with some easy plants and kind of figure it out from there. Consider doing some CO2, some decent lights, and good substrate and a little bit of fertilizer, and you're probably going to be right on the way. You're going to figure out some things, whether or not you're going to be able to actually pull off what you want to pull off. Some plants will just hate you for some reason. I still live in that world. I live in that world with a few things. And, you just be consistent and keep rocking and rolling, and eventually you kind of find some things. KG Tropicals says, "I listen to you regularly while I'm either working or driving, but rarely say anything. I'm kind of shy." I know, those bald guys out there are generally pretty shy, Like it's like Samson's hair, right? Like you lose your power. You lost your power, but then you had to regain it through hard work, determination, and getting to 100,000 subs, right? I'd say congratulations to John and Lisa on 100,000 subscribers. That is awesome. And I'm like, realistically, I wanted to post like congratulate. I feel like a dork if I congratulate, but really congratulations to KG Tropicals. I love you guys. I love you guys. I hope to see you soon at some kind of convention or something like that, or maybe I'll just fly out to your house and be like, I'm at your house in your yard. I'm lurking with a camera and I'm live streaming to YouTube. So hopefully we'll do that soon, and we'll see what's up. Fish keepers, here we'll be transferring my fish to a bit of a bigger tank. That will be fun. Ooh, yeah, that is fun. I'd like to be doing that right now. Speaking of transferring to a bigger tank, I am going to be redoing the 240 and fixing up some other stuff coming up here pretty shortly too, along with some of those projects I talked about earlier. So I'll probably just end up doing them here at my house instead of letting people, because the makerspace currently isn't working out. So we'll see what we can do. I'll probably just start out doing them here. I'll do some of those test tanks here and bear the wrath of Victoria, who will probably karate chop me in the neck for setting up more tanks, but I'll figure out how to do it. I'll figure out how to get it done. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm that guy. I'm resourceful. Ollie H is here, says you're the soundtrack to my spreadsheet. Thanks for keeping me sane. Yeah, I like that. Alyssa Bentley only spent $85 considering a giant pile of wooden plants I bought, and that's not bad. Ooh, you had a big pile of stuff that you took home, so that actually is not that bad. I would pay $85 for that big pile of stuff. Bentley overall only spent $16. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like the overall there, the over-under. That's pretty good. All right, guys, I got to get rolling. Like I said, I want to get those concrete forms out before the end of day here. So I'm going to go get those laid out and tie in my rebar to them, and maybe I'll post a picture to Instagram or something, or maybe the members only. Maybe I'll throw it members only. I'm going to throw the project. Because as you guys know, that is one of the big factors in getting the pond done. And I will remind people, it's going to be a long time till this guy is able to get that pond done. So don't stress. Don't fake the funk on a nasty dunk. Because it's Monday, yo. CJ hides the button from me all the time.